So there's a new Link monster coming out in Age of Overlord by the name of Exceed the Pendulum, and I think it's really underrated. It's a Link 3 monster that requires at least one pendulum monster and has 3 really interesting effects. The first one allows you to add one pendulum monster from your extra deck to the hand when it is Link summoned. Not bad at all. The second one is a continuous effect that boosts the attack of the monster by 100 for each pendulum monster card you control on the field. If I recall correctly, pendulum scales are still treated as pendulum monster cards if they're in the spell and trap zone, because at the end of the day, they're still monster cards, just not monsters. And the third effect is something you've probably seen before. During either player's main phase, you can revive back from your graveyard or special summon from hand one pendulum monster whose level is in between the pendulum scales that you have on the field. This is basically Selene 2.0, but this time not really generic because only pendulum decks can really utilize this card. Because honestly, Selene just ended up being a gateway to allow people to access Code Talker from Needle Fiber if they were reviving back the effect Veiler that they summoned with a Needle Fiber. Selene was overall really good in just about any deck that could play it, but it wasn't that great in pendulums, whereas this card on the other hand is insane in pendulums. It does exactly what Selene does, so you can still revive back monsters from the graveyard during your turn, during your opponent's turn, but this time not really having to rely on spell counters really help, because in case you don't draw any spell cards, you can still use the effect twice. And trust me, this really does matter when you're reviving back cards like Reflection of Endymion on your opponent's turn. Because on your own turn, you're reviving back a monster so that you can keep extending and combo off, and on your opponent's turn, again, you're going to be reviving back the Reflection so that you can bounce back a card your opponent controls. And again, getting cards like Reflection of Endymion in the graveyard is extremely easy to do because it's a level 7 monster and can be used as a material for Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon and then into Vortex. So the third effect of this card is already kind of better than Selene's, but at the same time, this card becomes infinitely better than Selene once we also take into consideration the first effect. Recycling back a pendulum monster from extra deck to hand upon summon is not just okay, it's absurd. Astrograph Sorcerer is pretty disgusting because the card is not once per turn whatsoever, and the more you use the card, the more you generate advantage. And even though Electrum doesn't currently exist, at least in the TCG, you can at least search it with Beyond the Pendulum, which is the younger sister of Exceed the Pendulum. So the thing is, this new Link monster is already really interesting as it is, but what is really important about it is the fact that it is setting up the foundation of the great return of Electrum. Having both Electrum and this new card running around at the same time is honestly really terrifying. Because that would mean that access to Electrum gets you double access to Astrograph Sorcerer the first time you recycle it back with Electrum, and then with Exceed the Pendulum, and you're also going to be getting 3 arrows with Exceed the Pendulum, and a Monster Reborn on your turn and on your opponent's turn. This looks so insane in Metal Fools, granted how incredible Astrograph Sorcerer is in that deck. Sign me up, I'm down. Now again, with all that being said, is this card single-handedly enough to make Pendulums tier 0 again? Unfortunately not, but it is a step in the right direction. And I wouldn't sleep on the possibility of Electrum eventually getting unbanned, because I think at this point it is just a matter of time, granted the fact that we also got a lot of unbans and unlimits with the last couple of ban lists. And once that does happen, the phrase "Penned Best Deck" will no longer just be a meme. It'll be reality. Anyways, that's all I had for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me know your thoughts about Exceed the Pendulum in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.